Well, today's video we're going to take our 2011 Mustang and try to get the rear a little more square. After I finished the FDF angle kit, I went to my friends at Duffy's Garage to get an alignment, and they got the front pretty much where I wanted it, but when they looked at the rear, the thrust angle was off by quite a bit. You see the thrust angle is at negative 0.38 degrees. It's towing one wheel out negative 48 degrees and towing it in by 0.28 degrees, which is basically steering the car to the left. So to remedy this, we are going to install some adjustable lower control arms. The lower control arms are going to be from Whiteline. We got them from Amazon, and we're going to unbox them and install them and all that stuff. So let's get started. So we got these lower control arms from Amazon of all places because they had the best price, believe it or not. I really love supporting my favorite Mustang shops like CJ's and Steeda, but I'm kind of on a really tight budget right now and I really need some hookups. So if you work for those companies, hook me up, damn it. These are going to be Whiteline adjustable lower control arms. This is going to allow us to square the rear up, keep it from steering itself to one side. Like crappy unboxing, I apologize. It's a really nice piece. I guess this comes with a packing list. It tells you what you're going to require. It says you need 1 1/8" wrench times 2. We're probably going to use adjustable wrenches because we don't have 2 1 1/8" wrenches sitting around. An 18mm wrench or socket, which we have a lot of those, and a flat blade screwdriver. This is going to be part number KTA 195, and it's going to be for the S197 Mustangs. So yeah, it does come with a cool sticker, so we can show off that we got Whiteline stuff. And a little business card thing. It also comes with another sticker, so we can put one on our toolbox. These look like really nice pieces. They got a lot of weight to them. Bushings look nice and fat. Then we're going to take the fixed lower control arms out and put these in. We're going to adjust these out to where the current lower control arms are, just to have a good baseline. And then we can adjust it with this link here by spinning it out once we're at the alignment shop, and that'll make this either longer or shorter, and then we can adjust our thrust angle to make the rear basically straight. Right now it's a little bit twisted. This is going to solve that problem. Really nice craftsmanship on these arms. This paint or powder coating or whatever it is really nice. Doesn't look like there's any kind of flaws on this really. See, this thing's seen some better days. The axle side's pretty dry actually. I've greased these up pretty good before, but I guess I haven't done it in a while. That one's still nice and greasy, but the rear side's not very greasy. So the Whiteline ones are going to be nice and grease-free. This is all self-contained. You don't have to ever lube these up. And they're adjustable too, which means I can square up the rear a bit better. So to get these started, before we make it back to the alignment rack, we're just going to make the white lines as long as the arms that were already on it. That should get us pretty close to where we got to be. And then when we're on the rack, we can tweak these in or tweak them out a little bit more. We even put the bolts in just to make sure that they were about as even as possible. Also want to make sure that you got about the same amount of thread showing front and rear. And then more importantly than anything is to match these up from side to side. So take the other arm and adjust that to this arm, because you really want to start with a square setup from the get-go. If your car is a little twisted or the axle's a little twisted, you can adjust these out, but you really want to start with something square. More importantly than being the same length as the old ones or the stock ones or the previous aftermarket ones, whatever you got in your setup, is to have the left and the right side the exact same, so your axle's not twisted and basically steering the rear. As you can see, we got these the same length. You can even take a tape measure and measure these out, that way you try to get them the same, but said once everything's together, you can spin the center sleeve, and that's gonna make it adjust in or out. Now that they're both the same length though, we should be good to go. We can lock these in. To do that, you just spin this nut. So we're gonna just tighten the lock nut up a little bit for now. Not gonna get it super tight. Once it's on the car, we're gonna put some actual torque on it and get this thing locked in. Now let's put them on. So the wider end is going to be on the axle side, and you want this wider part of the bushing to be facing the pumpkin. These have two different part numbers on them, but I don't think it makes a difference which one's left and which one's right, as long as this bigger part is facing towards the pumpkin and the fatter bushing is in the rear. It's also a good idea to do these one at a time. It means that your axle gets a little bit more support and it doesn't fall or anything weird. You want to also clean your pockets and clean your hardware. Put a little bit of grease on here and maybe even some anti-seize. So these nuts to lock the control arms down are really big. I don't think I have anything that big actually, but you can take a big adjustable wrench and just get it on there tight. Don't strip these out or anything, obviously. And that should be enough to get on here. Just torque these down enough to lock them. Depending on if you're going to an alignment shop or not, you might want to beat on these a little bit and get them as tight as possible. Now just do the exact same thing to the driver's side.
So that's it for this quick little video on the lower control arms. We're going to be doing a couple other little rear mods, so I kind of broke it down into 3 separate videos. The next video is going to be what happens when your panhard bar gets stuck. And then we're also going to do a quick video on welding the rear diff on the Mustang. All of this is to get the car prepped for Ready Set Drift, and it did really well there, so all these mods did make a big difference. But stay tuned for all those videos, and I'll see you soon.